Did you recycle your bottle today? Made sure that you tossed it to the right bin? Did you feel good about it? What if I told you that most of your plastic does not get recycled, at least not in the way you think? What if plastic actually saved the world before it started choking it? This episode, we're cutting through the feel-good fog around recycling and asking the most uncomfortable questions around recycling plastic. Before plastic, the world ran on natural materials such as ivory, horn, wood, bone, and glass. It was just enough for everything from containers to buttons. Each had its own uses but also problems. For example, ivory was a smooth and strong material, perfect for piano keys, but it came from elephant tusk. At one point, up to 25,000 elephants were killed each year to meet demands. Horn and tortoise shells were shaped into everyday items, but supplies were limited, and overuse drove animals towards extinction. Wood could rap, bone could break, metal would rust. Glass was heavy and broke easily. And most of these materials were slow to shape, hard to mass produce. And then came plastic. It was strong, light, easy to mold, and cheap. It made medicine safer, cars lighter, and packaging last longer. It replaced rare materials and helped protect wildlife. It even reduced how much we needed from the forest and oceans. And that miracle never broke down. Plastic does not rot or rust, it lingers forever. Plastic is everywhere, not just in oceans or mountaintops. It's in our bloodstreams, our brains, our babies. Tiny fragments called microplastic are turning up in places they were never meant to be. In 2025, a major study published in Nature Medicine found microplastics deep inside human brain tissue. Concentration in the brains were higher than in the liver or kidneys. The particles, mostly polyethylene, the kind used in grocery bags. And here's the worrying part. Brains with dementia had up to 6 times more microplastic than healthy brains. We don't know if plastic causes dementia, but the fact that it is crossing the blood-brain barrier at all, that's alarming. Same story in the placenta. Studies have found that microplastics on both the mother's and the baby's sides. What about breast milk? Also contaminated. Multiple studies report microplastics in nearly half to 3/4 of all samples tested. Even the rain brings it down on us. Plastic falls from the sky, carried by the wind, spread across continents. These plastics are tiny, smaller than 5 millimeters. Some are so small, they are measured in nanometers, invisible to the eye, but able to travel through air, water, and tissue. They don't break down, they don't break up. And then they move, inhaled, ingested, and absorbed. We don't fully understand what this means for our health yet, but scientists say what we already know should be enough to raise the alarm. And here's the kicker. Most of us think the answer is simple. Just recycle, toss the bottle in a blue bin, and move on. It is not that simple. Let's talk about why recycling, at least the way it is done today, might be one of the biggest myths in the climate story. The comfort blanket, the blue bin, the idea that we rinse, sort, and toss, the problem goes away. But here's the hard truth. Only around 9% of all plastic ever made has actually been recycled. Why? Because plastic recycling is really hard. First, there are thousands of different plastics. Each comes with their own chemical makeup. You cannot just melt all of them together. They have to be sorted precisely. That takes time, labor, and money. And there's also contamination. Like for example, food, oil, or dirt on plastics can make it useless. And most recycling systems aren't built to clean every yogurt tub or a ketchup bottle. And even if everything goes right, recycling plastic often comes out weaker, less durable, less valuable. Most types can only be recycled once or twice before they're too degraded to use. Add to the fact that virgin plastic is cheaper, thanks to low oil prices and mass production. So companies have no real incentive to use recycled material. All of this means that most recyclable plastic does not get recycled. So where does it go? We send it away to the poor countries, places with fewer rules. We call it recycling, but most often it is dumping the problem somewhere else. In 2021, Europe exported 33 million tons of waste. Nearly half went to Turkey. The UK alone sent 40% of its plastic waste to Turkey, an 18-fold increase since 2016. The US, after China banned plastic imports in 2018, US started sending its waste to Malaysia, Vietnam, and Indonesia, countries that struggle with their own waste, let alone ours. On paper, this looks like recycling. In reality, it's open dumping, open burning, toxins in the air, plastics in rivers, children breathing smoke, farmers pulling plastic bags from their soil. Environmental groups call it waste colonialism. Rich countries cleansing their conscience by dirtying someone else's land. Even international agreements like the Basel Convention, meant to regulate this trade, are often ignored. Some countries aren't even part of it. Others just look the other way. The cost isn't just environmental, it's human. Think about the communities living near the dump sites. They have higher rates of respiratory illness, toxic exposure, contaminated food and water. According to WWF, the cost of mismanaging 1 kg of plastic in poor countries is 8 times higher than in the West. And yet, the system continues. So when we throw a bottle in the recycle bin and feel good about it, what are we really doing? We are outsourcing the problem, exporting guilt, and labeling it recycled when it ends up burning in a field outside Istanbul or dumped by a river in Java. This isn't just about plastic, it's about the truth. It's about systems designed to protect the powerful while the poorest pay the price. Here's the part that makes most people uncomfortable. The most practical, short-term solutions to plastic crisis aren't the ones we like to hear. Incineration, if done with carbon capture, cuts waste, produces energy, and reduces emission. Modern landfills with proper liners and systems can stop microplastic from leaking into the environment. Chemical recycling can turn even the dirty mixed plastic back to the usable material, something the traditional recycling just can't do. These aren't perfect, but they work better than pretending the blue bin will save us. Because individual action isn't meaningless, but it is not enough. We are told to feel the guilt, told that if we just rinse one bottle, make that one right choice, we are saving the world. But that's not true. The system is designed to shift the burden onto us, while the real polluters keep making profit. What's the fix? We need smart policy, honest design, serious investment. And until that happens, stay alert. Stay questioning, because next time you toss something to that bin, ask yourself, where is it really going?